of the Capital District of Key Club International, an organization dedicated to community service and leadership development. She's also the captain of her soccer team. Ladies and gentlemen, Isha Kashmiri.
Assalamu alaikum and good evening, everyone. Tonight I have the honor of introducing Mr. John Wooden-Smith. A UPenn graduate, Mr. Wooden-Smith has served as the Secretary of State of Maryland under the Larry Hogan administration since February 2015. He is a member of the Governor's Executive Council and is the chair of the Governor's Subcabinet for International Affairs. As the Secretary of State, Mr. Wooden-Smith serves as the Governor's liaison for labor relations. Prior to working in the executive branch of the state of Maryland, Secretary Wooden-Smith served in the U.S. Navy and was the president for the Anne Arundel County's Board of Education from 1983 to 1987. He spent nearly 2 decades working for the National Security Agency under the administration of Nixon, Ford, Reagan, H.W. Bush, and Bill Clinton. It is truly a privilege to have such an honorable guest with us tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, Secretary of State, John Wooden-Smith.
Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm absolutely delighted to be here with you this evening. On behalf of Governor Hogan, I'm pleased to join you as we celebrate really the richness of the Muslim community in Anne Arundel County. And I would like to specifically thank Colonel Abu Rahman for the invitation and the opportunity to be able to address you this evening. The governor's, let me direct for a second, I was reflecting on the county executive's comments about what it is that we really need and what the Muslim community wants. And I think we're going to hit on some of the same themes as I heard him say as well. But starting with the fact that the governor's top priority from day one has been to increase the economic development and the job creation throughout the state. And that's certainly a top issue for this community as well. I would point out a couple of things for you. Since Governor Hogan declared that Maryland is open for business in 2015, the state's economy has added more than 63,000 new jobs, and that's the largest gain Maryland has experienced in a long, long time. In addition, as I'm sure all of you are aware, the tolls were cut at every single facility in the state, again for the first time in more than 50 years. The governor had instituted a top-to-bottom review of regulations hindering the growth of small businesses, and the economy has enabled the government to reduce a whole host of both fees and taxes. With the latest round of 155 fee cuts or eliminations that were announced just this past Thursday, the Hogan administration has been able to take action to put more than $660 million back into the state's economy and back into the pockets of Maryland taxpayers. So that's now 255 fees that the governor has cut in this state. The passage of the fiscally responsible budget for 2017 as part of the end of the legislative session, he did that weeks before, and I think that shows that the governor is truly leading a bipartisan effort, reaching across the aisle to continue to do everything he can to help our state's economy. Pointing out a couple other things in that vein, in the fiscal year 2017, the Small, Minority, and Women-Owned Business Investment Account will receive a record funding of $13.7 million, which is nearly a 30% increase from the amount of funding that the account received last year. And also, in terms of contributing to the development of small businesses in Maryland, which are primarily owned by minorities, the fiscal year 2017 budget provides $6.3 million for business assistance through the Maryland Small Business Development Financing Authority. So the administration really is committed to making Maryland a place where startups can begin and that they can thrive. And where Fortune 500 companies can in fact look to invest and not leave the state but come back to the state. And where family-owned businesses can support generation after generation. Certainly the ethnic, cultural, and religious diversity is one of the greatest assets of Maryland. It is what makes Maryland such a great place to live, to work, and to retire. In fact, Maryland is one of the most diverse states in the U.S., ranking 6th in terms of minority share of the state population. And as I think has been already mentioned, but in Anne Arundel County, minorities comprise a remarkable 30% of the total population. And I am told there are 15,000 Muslims residing in Anne Arundel County. In fact, Maryland will soon become a majority-minority state. Throughout my tenure as Secretary of State, and that's now been 17 months, I've personally met with over 30 foreign ambassadors in Washington, D.C., and most of them mention, when I meet with them, the great work our ethnic and religious communities are doing in our state. Maryland has a strong presence and competitive edge on the global arena because of the presence of communities like the one that is before me here today. The grand opening of the Dianet Center of America in Lanham, Maryland is a testament to the state's strong acceptance of different religions and different cultures. I attended that event back on April 2nd and met with many religious and political leaders. It was a very, very interesting and very important event that occurred. As was mentioned earlier, as the Secretary of State, I chair the Governor's Sub-Cabinet on International Affairs and the Maryland Sister States Program, which both work to connect Maryland to a diverse array of foreign countries and establish key diplomatic, economic, cultural, and social relationships across the world. Both of these bodies, in order to be successful, require that we work closely with our local communities. I very much understand that the local communities are one of the most important stakeholders in fostering international cooperation and understanding. And with that in mind, Steve McAdams from the Governor's Office of Community Initiatives and I work very closely together to ensure that we reach everyone in the community. So I look forward to meeting many more of you tonight and to continuing to build our joint partnership in bettering the state of Maryland. So thank you so much for your warm welcome here tonight.